already know. You see the title. It's been a minute since I posted a Source Strip deck, but this time
Source Strip.
Yeah.
Alright,
Source Strip. But this time I'm gonna be combining it with Jellymon, my Ghost Game rookie of choice. So starting out, at first I thought Wanyamon was gonna be the egg, as well as Pokemon, but I just have it as a one of for now. But we're going with Puyoyomon because you definitely need a lot of stuff with Jellymon in the trash. And since Source Strip is the focus of this deck, and it strips the bottom, we're just going to be using that one. Using one Pokemon just to test it out, because even though I want this to be the focus, the jamming could definitely come in clutch when you need to go in for certain swings and survive. And it also preserves certain effects that we'll go over later on. So we'll just get the non-Jellymon rookies out the way. Glucomon and Gomamon. Right now, left the Glucomon at home, but Gomamon's effect does the exact same thing. So basically, whenever you strip a source from your opponent, you gain a memory, plain and simple. And the only difference is this is 3k and play cost of 4, 3 cost DP of 1k DP, but really they're just interchangeable. Now for the actual Jellymon, we're playing the one from RB1 that searches any card in the deck with Jellymon in its text, and a Kiyoshiro, which is the Tamer. Really good because you just, again, it's Jellymon in the text, so it doesn't have to have it in its name. And then the inheritable, whenever you trash an effect from your hand, you gain a memory. So it just makes sure that the memory is consistent, and definitely just a good turn one play to get the searches going, and you can digivolve over it and all that good stuff. We're playing 4 of the BT14 Jellymon because, again, Source Strip as an inheritable, but also it has Evade, so if, there's ever a Crimson Blaze or anything like that, you just suspend it, keep it on board, and use it as a target for digivolving later on, but it's mostly the inheritable we like. And to round out the rookies, I just threw in 2 of the promo jellies that can draw a card if you have the Tamer in play, just for card advantage. I mostly play that as a 4 of a regular Jellymon, but running it at 2 here. Next up for the 4s, Tesla Jellymon, when attacking you could draw a card. This is actually one of the reasons why I like running Bugramon as a one of, because if you could just swing, have jamming, and survive, and set up for a Zudo Ace if you want to, but also it's consistent with the Jellymon that can strip a source when attacking as well. So just all around good card for card advantage and for just what the deck wants to do. For the next one, it's the Tesla Jelly that can play a Kiyoshiro for free when you digivolve, and also has the same inheritable that when you trash a card, you gain a memory. So not only does it keep the memory going, but it gets the Tamer in play for free if you don't have one. And we'll go over both of the Tamers later, but in a nutshell, one is a memory setter, and the other will not only draw you cards, but gain you additional memory on your turn. And then the non-Jellymon champion I'm going with right now is Ikakumon. This thing is really good. When you digivolve, you can trash any 2 Digivolution, so it's selective Source Strip. That's been kind of really good standard for the deck recently. And when attacking, basically you get to stun something with something that has fewer Digivolution cards in it. However, it also has that same text as an inheritable. So when you're all the way up to Amphimon, let's say, or Hexablow or whatever, you can just swing and stun something. Now, granted, the stun here only prevents them from attacking, not from blocking. But we'll get into that later. Still a stun. Still a stun. Alright, speaking of stunning, probably my favorite ultimate in this deck, Thetismon. So basically, same thing as Ikakumon. When it digivolves, it gets selective Source Strip, but you have to trash 2 blue cards in order to do so, and it'll strip for each one. Thing about this one though, you can strip from Digimon and from Tamers. So if you're going against like Hunters or Crossheart or something, for instance, you can get rid of the sources from there and their pieces, but then it can keep a Digimon without sources or a Tamer without sources from suspending. So it's kind of a soft stun in a way. And this is really good against like let's say a Cool Boy or a BT14 TK. You prevent those things from being able to suspend, and if that's not enough, at the end of attack, again, reason for Puyoyomon, you can return 3 things with Jellymon in its text to the bottom of your deck to unsuspend it, which is why you definitely need to be able to pay attention to the number of things in your trash. Now, normally I run, I think, about 3 or 4 of these. Thetismon, it basically just warps from a Jellymon and has the same exact inheritable. but I made space for Zudomon Ace in this deck because, you know, it's a blast counter that can strip sources, of course, but it also bounces something without sources. So if there is something on board like a floodgate or anything that you need to get rid of, you can just get rid of that. And because it's consistent with source strip, it's just a good blast evolution to have in this deck, in my opinion. And the fact that you can hard play it for 4 to enable an Amphimon is just overall good. Um, Speaking of Amphimon, why is it important? Basically, when digivolving and when attacking, and it's not once per turn, you can trash up to 2 blue cards in your hand to trash any 2 sources from your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, and then you could just bot deck any Digimon without any sources. It's the main reason why I'm not really running much hard removal in options, because Amphimon is removal itself alongside Zudomon if something has 2 or fewer sources. But then if that's not enough, during all turns, and this one is once per turn, if you return three Jellymon things in its text to the bottom of the deck, you can just prevent any of your blue Digimon from being deleted. And man, it's so good. I love it. This is why I'm kind of iffy on Bukamon right now, because sure, you could swing with jamming to preserve the effect, or you could just swing and then use the effect then and there. It honestly just depends on what your Jellymon count is. But as far as I think, Puyoyomon and Bukamon respectively are just both they're just worth testing respectively. So now we get into my guy, my boy, Hexablaumon. Oh man, the homie. So
Nightmare.
I mean, yeah, definitely nightmare for red players. But definitely just honestly wanted an excuse to use this card. And you guys know me. I wanted to just make a Hexablaumon deck because I just like the card in the Digimon. I'll probably be making a list that is more focused on him, and not in the Jellymon build. But for now, he's just a supporting Mega, because when he attacks, you can trash up to 2 Digivolutions from the bottom sources, and it's not selective source strip. But if you keep in mind the inheritables from the Theta spawn earlier, you don't need to have Jellymon in your text to unsuspend. You just need to return 3 things with Jellymon to the bottom. So you can just unsuspend Hex, you can just sit there, protect it, and so long as your opponent has a Digimon without sources, he has jamming too. And all turns, he's basically a Sarai, if nothing. Anything without a source can't attack or block. So, I mean, eat your heart out, Royal Knights, I guess, unless they can pop them. But basically, Hex is just all around a great supporting Mega here. And to round out the Megas, we got this Amphimon, which, when did you fall thing, you could trash up to 3 blue cards in your hand, and then you could source strip its scales. And then during your opponent's turn, it's basically a defensive card that just ends any attack if you return 3 things with Jellymon and it's like to the bottom. So that's why it's just a one of. It's there to just like stall a turn if need be. But now we got the Tamers, all of which are Kiyoshiro. Basically, hell yeah, Ghost Game. So basically, you guys probably know this one. It's a memory setter, and if anything with level 5 or higher, or with Jellymon and its name attacks, you can draw one if you have 7 or less cards. This one kind of has a similar thing, where all turns, when one of your Digimon with Jellymon in its text would attack, you could suspend it to draw one if you have 7 or less. But during your opponent's turn, if your opponent's level 5 or higher attacks, you could also do the same thing. And so most of the time, your opponents are going to be set up with like a blast face card or whatever. They're probably going to swing with it if it's a mega next turn. I mean, that's a free card in your hand. But also, if it's suspended going into your turn, when it unsuspends, you gain a memory. So basically, it's just extra memory gain on top of the memory tamer. I think there's definitely precedent for Sora and Joe in this deck, but saving that for the more all-in source strip deck and not the Jellymon version. Next, probably one of everyone's favorite searching cards, the training. Yep, basically the best option right now, mental training. My God, listen. So Amphimon is 4 to digivolve into. This turns her into a 2. Of course, it turns all champions free, and I mean, there's not really much else to say about this card.
I need to explain it.
You really don't, honestly. Like, it does everything.
Or that.
2 copies of Sarai, definitely don't need to explain it, but I'll do it anyways because I love the option. Trash at the top 4, and is a fake Hexablau, stops them from attacking if they don't have sources. And I'm not going to explain that whatsoever. So basically, that's the deck. Gonna be testing it a little more, seeing what works, what doesn't, and then next time I post something to the channel about this, it'll be more all in on source strip. Most likely gonna be Hexablaumon. Look forward to it.
Blue.
Yes.